Hey, okay, so today I'm just going to step away from managing back pain for a session, maybe two, and look at what I would consider to be a functional goal. So I really like when people come in with specific goals, not necessarily around managing a condition or pain, but something really specific that they want to achieve. And one that I had recently was wanting to get up and down off the ground more gracefully. Fantastic. So we can measure that, which is the first thing you need to do with any goal. Figure out how you can make sure that you have improved towards it or achieved it. So to do that, what we do is get our assistant to stay still for a second. It's called the sit-rise test. It is really hard. So it's scored out at 8 points, a maximum 8 points. And what you need to do is start off standing with your feet together, make your way onto the floor in a seated position, cross-legged, and then stand back up again, which sounds pretty simple. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do it, because all you need to do is get down onto the floor, into a cross-legged position, move your assistant out of the way, and then make your way back up onto your feet again. So that's the test. But the catch is anytime something other than a foot goes to the ground, you lose half a point, or if you lose your balance. So I don't know if I can do a perfect 8 out of 8, I'll give it a go. But what it would look like is starting standing, and then you need to get into this cross-legged position onto the ground. So far so good. But then getting back up again is the hard part. So not bad. That was a knee going down. I'm going to take off half a point for that knee. But if you needed to drop a knee to the ground first, and then use a hand, that's 1 point gone. So the more awkward it is, the more points are taken away. So it's called the sit-rise test. I might add some notes about this in the description of what we're doing today. So what we really need to do to achieve a better score is improve our hip mobility, our leg strength, and our balance. So we're going to work on that in that order. Hip mobility, we might start with. So to be able to even get into a cross-legged position, I remember as a school kid how incredibly uncomfortable sitting cross-legged was for anything longer than seconds. So sitting cross-legged is not that much fun, but we can work on it in lots of different ways. I'm going to show you 3 different hip mobility exercises, and you can just choose whichever one you think is most comfortable. If you have any pain with any of these exercises, please don't do it, just come in and see one of us. So, the first one, we say it's a 90 position, 90 degrees at your knees and each way. And then I'm just going to lean my chest towards my front knee. So up and down. So I'm not holding the position, I'm just gently going forwards into the stretch and then back out again. You can move your hands in different directions. You can move the dog in different directions. For temporarily at least. So that's one. Thank you. For the next one, I'm going to use my couch. Same kind of exercise, but I'm going to put my knee on the side of the couch, and then I'm just leaning my chest towards my knee once again. So you can have a little bit of a play to make this comfortable. You're standing beside, you can use a dining table, maybe if it's a good height. You're just gently leaning towards that leg that's raised. You shouldn't feel any stress in your knee. It should be comfortable and supported. And you just take your time. You're trying to loosen up and make those joints feel better. No forcing things to happen. So that's another option. And then the third one is laying down on your back. I think most people are probably familiar with this. And you're just hugging that leg in towards your chest. You can use your other leg to help as well as you're gently coming in and then away from your chest. So these are 3 variations on the same exercise. You can just choose one of them and repeat it a few times each side. So let's do those ones one more time. 90 degrees at your knee, 90 degrees at the other knee. Get your dog out of the way, and then just leaning down towards one knee at a time. You can slide your hands forward. I forget the dog thinks it's her cue. Yes, very good. So that's the first one. The second one is using your couch or a prop. Thank you, Joe Dog. Raising a leg onto the side of your couch because it's just a nice comfortable height most of the time. And gently moving your chest towards your knee. Slow and controlled about 10 times. Although I'm not good at the counting business. And then the last one is laying on your back. And gently pulling one knee towards your chest. Okay, so that's how we loosen up the back of our hips. And then we're going to work on the front of our hips, which is pretty nice. So grabbing a cushion or a pillow or something just to soften the surface, an exercise mat would be fine. We are going to be... What are you doing, girlie? You are... She's getting humpy. Anyway. Can I help you? One knee down on the cushion. Pushing your hips forward and getting a little stretch down the front of your hip. So this is one variation. I'm going to go through 3 once again. So gently pushing your hips forward to get a little stretch down the front. And then back again. So just gently moving forwards with the hip and then back. You have to look after your back. No arching, no letting your ribs pop. Just pushing the hip forward and then back again. So that's one, knee on the ground, quite comfortable. The next one is using our couch once again. So knee on the seat of the couch. And you are pushing your hips forward, same stretch. This one I quite like, you just get to relax into it. It's nice on the knee, easy to do. Gently pushing that hip forwards and then relaxing. So then the third one, some people are more flexible, they want a more aggressive type of stretch. So a long lunge position, and you're lowering that back knee towards the ground and then back up again. So you've got a lot of weight on the front of that leg as you're lowering and back up again. Down and then back up, slow and controlled. So those are 3 variations, same exercise. You just need to choose one of them that feels good. So I'm going to show you one more time. This is the first one. So this one's obviously quite specific as you're on the ground, and that's the position we're trying to work towards. Gently pushing those hips forward and then relaxing. Next one, onto the couch. This would be my favourite. I just find it's an easy stretch to relax into. You're not balancing, you're not straining. It's quite enjoyable. You can do this one anytime. And then what I find is the tough one leg forward, one leg back. Hands on your head helps. And slowly lowering down that back knee down to the ground and then back up again. Okay, so now we've loosened up the outside of our hips and the front of our hips. So now the back. Everyone loves to stretch their hammies. There's lots of ways you can do this. So I'm going to show you a couple of alternatives that are quite similar. The first one is you need to fold up a towel. I'm using a cushion. Fold up something, even an exercise mat, just something so that your heels are raised about an inch above your toes. You love leg hugs. And then reaching your hands down towards your toes. And then back up again. And then back down. And back up. This one is it's quite gentle, having your heels raised. Reaching down. And back up. And then a little bit more aggressive than that one is moving your feet so now your toes are raised. So instead of your heels being raised, your toes are now raised an inch above your heels. So you're just putting your toes on top of the cushion or a pillow or a towel, folded up exercise mat, whatever it might be. So this one I find a bit more aggressive. Slow and controlled. And then the last one, I just bend my knees enough until I can get my fingers underneath my toes. And then you just gently straighten, well, try to straighten one leg at a time or both legs together. It has to be really gentle. Mine are a long way off straight, so don't feel that you're trying to lock your knees. So I'll show you those three again. So the first one, with your cushion, pillow, towel, something, heels raised about an inch, feet, your toes on the floor, heels up on something. Sliding down towards your toes. Again, I don't expect you to get there. That would be hypocritical. Pausing, and then back up. If you like, you can stay for a breath. So this is heels raised, probably my favorite. And now just reversing it so your heels are on the floor, toes are up on your cushion towel. Nice and slow and controlled. You can hang out for a breath down the bottom. Last one. And then the third one, bending your knees enough until you can get your hands under your toes. And then you can either do one at a time or gently trying to straighten both together. This one has to be super gentle, otherwise you won't enjoy it. Okay, so then we started off with the outside of our hips, and then we did the front of our hips, we've done the back of our hips. So now we're on to the inside. I really like using a foam roller. I just think it's a simple way to attack these muscles and help them to relax. So it looks really good too. It's a bit of a crowd pleaser. You put the roller between your thighs and you have your feet as close together as you can. And then you're just moving your hips forwards and backwards. So as I said, it's a real crowd pleaser. You can move the roller around to get to different parts of those muscles, wherever feels like it really needs it. And then you just Mr. B in your hips, forwards and backwards. You can have a little play with this one. I stole this one from a friend who's a myotherapist who was trying to find out, he works with the Australian Ballet and was trying to figure out how to self-mobilize their adductors, their groins, bit of self-management, and I really like it. I think that trying to do it on the ground is just awkward. And this not only looks good, but it works. So this is the first one. You just gently move the roller up and down to get to different parts of those muscles. You might find that you feel more tightness up the top or down the bottom, wherever that is. You can hang out there for a few more hip rocks. The roller, absolute crowd pleaser. So the next one, you stand, I'd say double shoulder width apart, and then you just drift over one foot and then over the other. So your feet are pointing out roughly 45 degrees, and you just push your knee over your toes on one leg and then over the other leg. That's 2. Number 3 is you reach your hands over to one foot and then over to the other foot. You can have soft knees, you don't have to have locked knees. You're gently moving and hanging over one foot and then the other foot. So, one more time. Roller between the thighs and gently rocking your hips forwards and backwards. Well, you could bring this into a meeting. I think it would be really appropriate. A really good one around the breakfast table in the morning as well. Conversation starter. And again, just moving it around to anywhere you feel like needs a little bit of attention. The closer your feet are together, the more you can feel it. Okay, that's the roller. Double shoulder width with the feet. Toes pointing out at 45 degrees. Drifting your knee over your toes, one foot and then the other foot. And then last of the groin ones, hanging and then reaching towards one foot and then towards the other foot. So that's our mobility routine. What you would do is you just loosen up a little bit after that, shake it all out, and then retest. See how you go with the sit-rise test. So again, what you're trying to do is get into a cross-legged position on the ground without losing your balance. And then returning to standing without losing your balance. I did put a knee down. I'm not sure if that's in the rules. Let's see how we go. Next time we'll go over some strength to help get back up and down again. And of course, some balance, all to make getting up and down off the ground more graceful. See you soon.